E.c.illa, A.K.A. Whitefolks, representing Seawall Mob to the world below. You know what I'm saying? Raised on Belle Plaine and Broadway in Chicago's Uptown area, you know what I mean, north side. 13 moved a little further north, over by Howard, you know what I mean. Represented the pole to this day. That's where we stand, you know, still repping the pole. And, you know, doing what I can to get this shit exposed and put y'all up on this real Chicago shit, real life shy shit.
Kissing babies, making moves while you making plans. I'll buy a sack of...
Me and Trax first met, I'm trying to think of the year. I'm thinking 1993. And we were both part of a rap crew called the Ill State Assassins. A bunch of cats came up in that same crew. Toxic, E.c.illa, the boys from Mob Action, Big Rap, one of the founders of Seawall, D-Villa, one of still to this day one of the rawest females coming out of Chicago, out of rap period. You know, so we was all youngsters trying to get into the rap game, and Trax was in a group called D to the S, and I was doing my solo thing, and you know, we were doing songs together amongst the crew, and motherfuckers just came to relate, and you know, the crew at that point was tight like a family. So, you know, motherfuckers, one week led to a month, led to a year, led to many years, and now comes that these are the motherfuckers that you grew up with, that you came up with, you know. So me and Trax worked and met at that time through the Ill State Assassins.
Man, I'm so high I can barely think up the words I should spit, but then it always comes.
Well, I put out a couple albums with a company called Wicked Entertainment, 94, 95, all through about 97. And we had some pretty good independent success, you know what I mean. Got some videos on TV, and we was just doing our thing. Made some classics with them, What You Be About, and, you know, The Game You Claim with Trax. Ended up, you know, things wasn't going how I felt that they were supposed to go, and I had to, you know, take myself out of that situation. And at that point, I came to Trax. He had been doing the thing with Twista and you know, all the classic shit that Seawall had put out from about 95 to 98. Mob Stability had just dropped, and I came to him and I told him, look, you know, this is my situation. I'm leaving this situation alone, looking for a new home. And, you know, motherfucker respected my business skill a lot and invited me, you know, to really be a part of Seawall. Really, at that point, it wasn't so much an artist situation as much as he felt that I would be valuable on the business side of it, and you know, he helped to incorporate me. This was the same time though that motherfuckers was breaking bad from Seawall. Twist, Toxic, KX, motherfuckers decided that they wanted to do other things, and you know, it was a real tense time for the Wall, and there was a lot of beef was going on between motherfuckers who was once affiliated. And, you know, I was a real dedicated member of the situation, of the Seawall situation at that time. And I think Trax looked upon that, you know, in good grace, and he really felt like that was a gesture during the time when a lot of motherfuckers wasn't believing in the company. That I was a fan of the company, separate from knowing everybody. So I felt it an honor to be a part of what I felt was really Chicago's first power label, you know what I mean? And from that point, we started recording. He decided to put out work during the drought, and I got on, did the song The One, which a lot of people felt was, you know, classic cut, and it fell upon, you know, very good response. And things built from there.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
The Trust None experience, you know, was a beautiful thing. You know, I appreciate, you know, through all the difficulty of the filming, you know, it's very hard, particularly when you never made a movie before, to try to piece it together and organize everything. But I had the idea for this movie plot for years prior to filming it. I had it in my head that this would be raw, and it was kind of based on some ideas and some street shit that we was really considering and attempting to do, without giving away too much information. But we basically, I had a dream, an epiphany. If y'all don't know what that means, that's like all at once, a revelation. And I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning, started writing this whole concept for this movie. Stayed up for about 2 hours straight writing, and by the time I laid back down, the entire movie was done. I mean, everything that you saw on the DVD was done in my head and on the paper in a 2-hour span. I knew who was going to play what roles, and I knew what music was going to come in where. And it was, imagine as a fan that you got the chance to really piece together an idea and incorporate all your favorite rappers. That was really what I got to do. So, took the idea, waited for the right moment until there was a company and a situation that presented itself to film the movie, and basically just knocked it out. And we decided we were going to market it as Chicago's first official gangster film, because that's what it is. Psychodrama blessed me, Trax blessed me. You know what I mean? All the underground cast, was more than happy to be down with the situation. It was a beautiful thing, and really, in my opinion, it's classic right now. But years from now, I think motherfuckers gonna look back at that and be like, "That's some absolutely true Chi-Town shit," because I believe that, wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I had some money. Music industry money is slow, and I was blessed enough to come up on some pretty decent bread through the separate hustles I've been doing in the music game. And the bread was dwindling down, you know what I mean? And I basically more or less was trying to make a decision on what to invest this bread in, to keep myself afloat and make sure I continue, to do all right. So, obviously, this is all the options, the street options, that I've been through and done already. And I really was trying to make a conscious decision to really try to do some legal shit, you know what I mean? So I had the idea. As an artist, I was always frustrated that these independent stores, they were cool, but there wasn't a whole lot of Chicago product that was being sold. And I knew everyone I was around was listening to the straight up gangster shits and the Boogie Boy gangster mixes and, PD and TD and my shit, and all these things wasn't available to people so readily. So it was my concept to really build a haven for independent underground Chicago shit, because I knew these motherfuckers was sleeping. They could have been making this money off this shit, these other retailers, but they wanted to be on some old major label shit, and they didn't want to hear it, and they didn't believe in it. So I set up a little, hole in the wall shop on the pole up north, where motherfuckers was neglected, and there wasn't much for motherfuckers to find anyway. Set up, put that shit in the case, and as time passed, the word got around that this is where you get that dope, that Chicago dope. Motherfuckers started trickling in, and it really became an infamous spot to, get all this underground Chicago shit. And, I owned it for 4 years prior to selling it. I still do the online business, you know what I mean, and pursue my rap career in the meantime, and I still do production. But in those 4 years, I promise you, we made a situation that has benefited a lot of people, turned a lot of people onto some music they might have never known about, made a lot of classic material that was impossible to find, accessible to people, and that's something I'm very, very proud of. And, the tipcds.com and the tip retail stores, like children to me. And I'm proud to see them grow up and, be positive things in the scene.
On through to December, motherfuckers in shot.
Story behind the song What You Be About. And mind you, What You Be About, really, there was a lot of good gangster rap coming out. What You Be About was really the first song to truly incorporate the Chicago gangs in the song, and not just be on some gangster shit or not even talk about the gangs, but bring the gangs into the music, you know. And Boogie Boy, you know, bit the idea, but he bit it good, so I honor it, you know what I mean? But putting true life gangbanging in the song was never been done before. And basically, you know, it was a song I've been working on for the E.c.illa LP, which is an album I dropped in 1995. A lot of classic material on that. And I had the idea that really I wanted to tell my whole story up to that point. I, you know, had so many people involved in the gang culture, and I was directly involved with all this shit that, you know, really musically speaking to that point, no one ever touched upon. So at the time I came up with the idea, it was a new idea. And I really just wanted to tell the story, particularly from the north side perspective, because as most of y'all know, that's been the neglected side. Motherfuckers don't know this is really where the guns and the drugs and all the shit come from, you know what I mean? The motherfuckers up north bring the shit into the state, and they pass it on to the rest of the sides, man. So, I mean, you know, it was always frustrating for me that the north side really didn't have a voice. So I wanted to tell the story, you know, and incorporate the gangs that I grew up around. A lot of these gangs is exclusive to the north side or the northwest side, particularly the Hispanic gangs. So I was proud, you know, to be able to represent for motherfuckers I came up around, and I knew these motherfuckers, you know, and be a part of giving them a voice was an important thing to me. And the song went down, you know, in history. Our motherfuckers appreciate it and remember it fondly, you know. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm very, very proud of that song. That's one of my favorites, you know, that I've created in my career.
Nowadays is a task, so you best know what to tell.
Well, when it first came out, you know, I had a lot of hip-hop fans, like hardcore hip-hop fans. And hip-hop fans, you know, they liked hip-hop because they wasn't into no street shit. You know, so a lot of the shit that I was doing had a lot to do with, you know, graffiti and hardcore raps and MCing and, you know, those elements of hip-hop. So when I started incorporating my street life into it, some of the hip-hop motherfuckers, it was difficult for them to swallow. But at the same time, all the motherfuckers who was living it embraced it. So it wasn't, I didn't lose fans. I don't feel like it was a trade-off. But it definitely was, you know, at a time when gangster rap in Chicago, style gangster rap, wasn't easy to find. So it was new for some motherfuckers. And motherfuckers, you know, not everybody embraced it because they felt like it was maybe promoting negative, you know, some negative shit. But it was real, and it was what it was. And, you know, I didn't give a fuck about them fans, really. If a motherfucker couldn't honor that, they wasn't really true to Chicago anyway. So I didn't really, you know, draw off that too much, and I gained so many more fans than I lost out of the whole situation. So it was, you know, it was perceived with mixed response, but it was definitely much more positive than negative to it. And it also was, you know, really the beginning of the second half of my career, and me, you know, speaking upon topics that I knew so well and really serving it to the people and being on some old street shit, you know, that was true to my heart, you know. You know, I think that I'm unique in the way that I've been able to retain, you know, my influence and my respect in underground hip-hop, and at the same time gain a whole new following and a whole new set of fans and respect from what people might call gangster rap or underground gangster shit. And I think it has to do with the fact that, you know, I came up around all this shit, and it's very, you know, I'm bilingual, really, essentially. I can spit any way. You know, a lot of the more up-and-coming artists that are getting some notoriety in Chicago, Bump J, and so on, they have a little more, you know, standard East Coast flow, but they incorporate so much Chicago slang into it that they make it something that's their own. And I'm very familiar with that. I know how to do that, you know what I mean? At the same time, I can get on a Do or Die album, on a song like One More Way, or on a song with Young Buck, and spit on equal caliber with these artists that I respect, you know what I mean? Because I speak that language, and that style is second nature to me as well. So, I mean, I really can't say that it's been a conscious thing that I was trying to do. It's more or less a natural thing that I'm a fan of rap, and I'm a fan of many different kinds of rap. And as an artist, I'm able to do many kinds of rap legitimately. And you know, a lot of people are not able to do that, and I consider that a blessing. You know what I mean? I can spit it any old way, and motherfuckers feel that shit. You know, so I'm proud of that element of my career and my ability.
Eyes, I don't see black, all I see is bloody red, and cause of my nutty head.
I mean, what I know about Chicago rap is the problem isn't in the artistry, it's in the business, you know. And I think that's what's allowed me maybe to be ahead of some people, is because motherfuckers is better rappers than they is businessmen. And, you know, I wish it was a stage in the game where the music really mattered, but the fact of the matter is the music really doesn't matter. How you spend this money and how you present shit and all that is really what the music industry is, motivates the music industry, and it's real Hollywood and phony and bunk now. And that's why fans of Chicago rap often see artists that are far better than the artists that are out, having to remain in a real underground status. You know what I mean? But I'm fans of the same hard Chicago shit that the fans are. You know what I mean? I'm part of that. I mean, I believe, you know, that Trax should be one of the biggest producers in the game. Buck should be one of the biggest rappers in the game, you know. And it is possible, as we see with Twista and Kanye, to make it out of here. But, you know, the music industry is damn near impossible to begin with. You add the Chicago element to it, and this gets fucking ridiculous.
Fuck with me a nigga, it's gonna be summer. Steamer and a burner, and I'm good, he ain't see it.
As with all things in life, situations are very circumstantial. And there can be a motherfucker who really maybe wouldn't have made it under normal circumstances, blow huge. And then there's motherfuckers like Twist, for instance, who should have been huge, and it'll take 10, 15 years for the situation to present itself. So, I mean, obviously, as an artist, you try to hang out as long as you can in the game to see if that situation presents itself. But I think it's God. It's all written. You know what I mean? However it's supposed to go, it's going to go. And we don't know what that's going to be. So the bottom line is, everybody, all these rappers you've seen on this documentary and in the underground Chicago, I believe, you know what I mean, our destinies, I'm not going to say are predetermined, but, you know, you can try real hard and sometimes not accomplish it, and you can put very little effort forth and sometimes accomplish great things. So it's all yet to be seen, man, but I harbor no bad energy to none of these cats that succeed, and I really believe motherfuckers, you know, deserve what they got, and I can't switch places with none of these men, you know what I mean? I'm blessed, and I believe, you know, I wouldn't trade my situation for nobody's.